Good morning guys, welcome to my Flosstube. My name is Emily, I'm CraftieEmily here on YouTube. Words? Okay, let's sort this out, right. Okay, so I've had quite a good response to my mid-year whip parade. It's had double the views that any of my videos ever get, which I'm very grateful for, thank you. And a little bump in my subscriber numbers, which generally happens when you do a whip parade, so thank you very much. If you're new here, this is what you get from me. You get a lot of chatter. I'm sitting in my rather nice little conservatory. As you see, it's going to be terribly sunny later on. The sun's just hitting there, so I'm trying to get recorded before it comes over the side of the house, because then the light really gets very bright in here and it gets very hot in here. It's 8:30 in the morning, Wednesday, July the 17th. I'm working today. I'm on lates this week, so lates are fine. I don't mind the job of a late. The only problem with lates is I can't see my little boy, because obviously I start work right as he finishes school, but it's the last week of school and then 6 weeks summer holidays coming up, so I'm going to see him a whole lot more. For those who are new to my channel, I've had a big life change in this last year. I've moved in with my new partner and my 3 daughters are here living with me. My eldest has finished university and has come home. She's going to take a year out. My middle daughter's just finished her A-levels and will hopefully be going to do illustration at university in September. And my youngest daughter has just finished her GCSEs and is going on to do her A-levels in September. So, and my little boy, who's chosen to live with his dad full-time and will see me as much as we can. That's the best choice for him at the moment, and we left it up to him to choose. So it's complicated, but my house that I own, my ex-partner is living in there with my little boy presently. So I basically abandoned it and moved in here with Richard, who, I mean, this isn't new. We've been together nearly 3 years, so well, it'll be 3 years at the end of the year, so we've been together a fair while. This has been a long, drawn-out process, but now I live here full-time and I love it. I've still got a lot of sorting out to do. We still need to go and strip the girls' bedrooms from the old house, which I'm dragging my heels doing, because it's going to be a lot of crap that we don't really need here, but we need to do it. I'm off next week. Well, I'm off on Sunday, from Sunday for 8 days, so I'm going to have to do it then. But right now I'm just enjoying it. I've got the morning to myself essentially. Richard's off this week and I'm off next week. He couldn't get the same week off as me. We've got the same week off in August, so that's going to be nice. And you can probably hear the seagulls, because I can hear the seagulls. We are not by the sea. It is just a seagully place. I'm up in Cumbria in the UK. Anyway, stitching. I am, if you've watched my whip parade, you can see I stitch. I don't stitch as much as I used to because I work long hours, and unfortunately I would rather stitch all day, but you know, got to be done. And as it's got to be done, I have to go to work now and again, which is very annoying. Anyway, work is fine. I simply work in a supermarket, which suits me after years and years of child raising and having a proper career before child raising and doing bits and bobs afterwards. I've now settled. I need a nice brainless job where my brain can sort other things out while it's mindlessly filling shelves and running about getting things for people. That's just fine for me. Okay, so you see my whip parade. Now the brilliance of the whip parade is that I've pulled out things that I haven't seen for ages and now I want to stitch on them. So I have got 2 different pieces amongst the things I've been stitching this week. I'm just going to show you what I've been stitching on since my whip parade. And the first thing, I thought, for goodness sakes, why have I not finished this? This is a Lola Crow. I'm going to need something behind that. Give me 2 seconds. Dum, 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 dum. There we go. Right. Whoa. Okay, this here is a Lola Crow piece. Find her on Etsy. Lovely pieces. This is called The Best to See You With. No, it's not. I'm completely wrong. That's a different piece altogether. Very different. This is actually called What the Cat Saw, and it's charted as a little Siamese cat, but I've changed it to Eric, who is one of my cats. He now resides at my parents' house. He loves it there and he's living his best life, so we've decided to leave him there for now, plus my dad's become ridiculously attached to him. So it's finished, apart from some backstitch on the sails and the wallpaper, which was meant to be that very, very pale grey blue. I've changed it to a very, very pale grey purple just so I could see it, and I'm putting in 1 strand a day again. The last 4 days I've put in 1 strand a day because I'd forgotten I was meant to be doing that and finishing it. So I'm going to do that and get it finished and get it framed, and then we'll have a little keepsake of Eric and a finished piece and one whip off the pile. Now we've got loud kettle noise. Ho hum. Okay, the other piece I pulled from the depths of stash was my absolutely glorious Lisa Parker Hubble Bubble. Now this is, I'll put up the picture here of it. I don't need to put up the picture of that because it's nearly finished. Great, I've left a needle right in the middle, as I always do. It's an ornament, so although I do love the full-size piece, I picked an ornament because at the time I just started a whole pile of enormous great pieces. When I showed it in the whip parade, I just simply don't have my piece of paper to hand. Why don't I have that to hand? Looking for the book I wrote all my numbers in. Can't see it, can't see it, can't see it. That's super helpful. I'm going to go look for that. Give me a sec. So, Hubble Bubble ornament. Found my book and just went to record again, and then realised I hadn't written down my percentages, which are on my phone, so I just had to stop the video again. And I don't usually edit myself. They're not edits, they're just where I've stopped and gone stupid and found what I needed and start again. Have another cup of coffee. I've had a little apple pie for lunch, for breakfast as well. Just a little dinky, Mr. Kipling styley. Okay, so picture here, I think, of where Hubble Bubble, the ornament, was when I picked it up, and it was at 7 point, and had been for 2 years, 7.54%. It's now at 9.18 and I don't feel I've put very much in it at all. What I have put in here is little colours here to join up the side of the ornament circle there. This is one of my few 25 count pieces. It's on the pre-gridded Zweigart Ada. Even weave, it's Laguna, isn't it? Lugana, sorry. Laguna is a Renault car from the 1990s, which I always struggle with. Anyway, here I put in some stitches, and I've got 747, I think, on my needle there. Something like that. Which is it? 747. Actually remembered. Sorry, the light's going to be funny now as I dip in and out. It's trying to come around the side of the house. So I'm going to truck along with this a little bit. I'd like to get down into something more entertaining than the very pretty background sky, but it is very pretty. The only problem with this is that it's on 25 count, and I prefer 20. But I had this little scrappy piece, and as you can see, what I've actually done is I've doubled it. I cut it to size to fit my 11 by 11. This is what I always use for everything, 11 by 11s. And I stitched on the waste fabric so I could get it in, and then I doubled it back on itself. So I've sealed it in, but that, with the double thickness, that automatically will clamp it tighter, because I like to stitch with a very, very drum tight fabric. Because I stitch two-handed, right hand posts, left hand pokes back up, right hand on top, dominant hand on top. We all stitch differently. That's my way. I find it's quick. I struggle with 25 count because I have to go a lot slower, because my stitches slip if I go too fast, and I'm a ferocious stitcher, so I pull very hard. So I've got to be like a gentle little fairy, and that's not me. So anyway, getting on with that one. Very happy. Already put 1.5% into it and doesn't even feel like I've done very much at all. Thinking I'm going to maybe try and keep track of my stitches and like how many I do, because I used to do thousands and thousands a week, and now I don't think I do anywhere near that. I probably think I'm topping out at about 1,500 stitches a week, I think, because I'm really not being able to stitch. Apart from at the end of the month when I'm doing my treasure hunt bookshelf stitches, and I might get 18 or 1900 stitches a day in total. That's over several pieces. I used to be able to get that a day on a Haid and then do stitches on something else. Work sucks. Right. I also put in some work stitches. I moved my Q-snap during the whip parade of my cheapy Chinese kit of the Spirited Away Sea Dragon, which I can't even be bothered putting a picture up of what it looked like before because it's not really vital, is it? It's here now. So I've stitched in quite a bit here, and I've basically been picking symbols, but you can see what it is. I've got a real frog in my throat, I'm sorry. I'm stitching these just to see if there's detail, because they're 11 count, they can't have detail. But I showed, Maddie was sitting next to me painting, and then she looked over and went, oh, that's Spirited Away, that's Doodah. And the fact that she could see it just from, I mean, all right, she knows it very, very well, but the fact that she could see what it was without me having to tell her was a bonus. Probably if I show you the back, you can see pretty much how much of that I've done. So I'm getting there with it. What colour am I? I've not got any colour on just now. I'm probably going to do, this is the tealy colours up this side of him, I believe. I'm probably going to pick up one of those next and do that. And then this number 1 and number 12 are the two, they're the two background colours there. They're these are the threads. I assume they're the Chinese knockoffs. I mean, they're obviously Chinese knockoffs. A bit like CXC, a bit like the ones you get on Amazon if you just order a full set of threads for £30. But this is the same sort of thing. Nothing wrong with these threads. They're clearly polyester. They're not pure cotton, which, you know, being a bit of a DMC snob, I'd much prefer it. But these are fine. There's nothing wrong with this thread. So yeah, quite fine here, and it comes all pre-sorted, and the key down the side gives you the DMC numbers down the side. So 158 and 12, 792 are the predominant colours, which I love the colours. I absolutely love these colours, so all's good, and I'm keeping on with it. It's 11 count, I'm using the 3 strands it suggests, and it's pretty mindless stitching really, isn't it? It's just following the thing. It's very well printed. For a printed knockoff Chinese rubbish. Tapestry Market is where I got these. But they were very, very cheap, and they arrived very, very quickly. But the printing is bang on. It's, you know, the symbols are within the 4 corners. Absolutely, every single one. There's not a mistake. There's not a bit where it's half over and you're not sure where to put the stitch. It's really printed very well. I mean, you can see just here, look, these ones, you can see very clearly that the stitchings, they look like bits of Tetris. They're absolutely bang on. Where the corners of the stitch are going to go is where the colours are. So I'm carrying on with that just now. I'd like to get it done before I get bored of it, but I'd like to at least get the dragon in before I get bored of it. We will see. I do project skip a lot. Okay, talking of project skipping, I have reached a stopping point on Jack B Nimble, which is a newish long dog. Put the picture up of it here finished, which I'm not stitching like that. If you've seen it in my whip parade, I don't need to go on and on and on about it. I just needed to finish off one more bit. It was these dangly things here, and the 2 seagulls. So I got them in, and that's my first chunk. The light's going to catch me up now. There we go, that's my first chunk done. This is on 20 count Ada. It was pre-gridded. It's had itself died to within an inch of actually disintegrating, I think. And I'm using Karan Water Lily Opal. That's what I've got left from the first skein. I have another skein which I've obviously lost. I'm going to order some more. Obviously I'm going to need a bit more. It's very pretty. It is ever so slightly pastel colour. You can sort of see a little lemony, a little pinky. Really, you've got to be up close to it. But I just wanted basically an off-white, which is what it is. And I just fancied treating myself to a little bit of silk. So there we go. And I'm stitching 2 strands because the one strand was leaving gaps. Normally one strand on 36 count is perfect. I don't know if it's because it was dyed and dyed and dyed, but the actual texture, you can see this has been ironed very comprehensively. The texture of the Ada's gone a bit wonky. I think that was probably me dyeing it, getting cross with it, microwaving it, and singeing it, hence the brown bits. I singed it, so I've probably done something drastic to the fabric, but you know, we carry on. It was only for me, and we stitch. So that's that. That is one of my thread drops, my magnetic needle minder thread drops, which that's a single hole. I do single holes, 2 holes and 3 holes. So there we go. They're very good for long dog samplers if you're doing them mono or using mono with another colour. There we go. So Jack B Nimble's gone away. It is at 15.69%. which I think for a first rotation, a first go, isn't bad. But he's going away in the box because it's not his turn anymore. I have replaced it, as I said I would, because once I picked it up I couldn't put it down, with pandemic, which we all know, and lots of people have actually finished. I'm nowhere near. I started this as it came out in 2020, and yeah, haven't got very far with it. So when I recorded my video, it was at 13.18%. It's now at 13.59%. I did put in those strands. I found a strand attached to something else, and that's where it is. So I've put in stitches up here. So I'm going to kind of go that way. Just going in his shed. He's doing some tiling upstairs. So there we go. Putting some stitches into that, and to that end, of course I didn't. Oh, I did pick it up. Woohoo! I'm using this. This is Hydrangea, Mrs. Sadie's silk, and yeah, I've got it in a ball. So I'm going to separate out some, and I am not colour controlling this at all. It's the most glorious. It's blues and greens and purples mostly. Purples and greens mostly, but there's a bit of a blue where it joins between. So I'm just taking it a strand as it comes off, using one strand. It's 40 count. This is 40 count Tidal, picture this plus, which living here in the UK, I was unbelievably lucky to get a piece cut big enough to put pandemic on, and it was very expensive. We're talking circa £60 for this piece of fabric, because I'm in the UK and she had to cut it especially for me. It's a fat half. It's a half with a long 1/8 on it. I think it's a very big piece of fabric. Anyway, it will fit pandemic on it, but I was very pleased to get it. And back just, you know, then things were different and I ordered stuff and didn't really think about it, and I think about everything now. So I've got my Mrs. Sadie's silk. I've got 2 balls. One's a little bit smaller than this, but it's more than enough. It was a full hank. I've not used a great deal because it's only 13%. It's only that much that I've done, but I love it. And I did want this lacy tone on tone look. This was deliberate. I know it looks like I didn't know what I was doing because it disappears in. I absolutely wanted it to look like this. And I'm so pleased that it does, because some places the green silk actually just matches the green background for a few stitches, and then it rolls into a different colour. So I mean, you can see that clearly up here. It's exactly the same colour, but of course it's textural, and I love it. I absolutely love it, and it will one day be finished. But every now and again I get this urge to stitch on it. I'll put in maybe 10 lengths of 6 strands in and go, whoa, that's an extra 1.5% on it done. I'm putting it away again for another year. But pandemic's turn. So I'll stitch on pandemic for a little while, which is lovely. That's not one of my 4 leap year. I did the first long dog leap year Sal. I did Pilgrim, and I got it finished in 4 years. I had to really concentrate because of course I've got so many other things going on that I had to really concentrate to get it finished. But I did, and I then picked 4 started long dogs to stitch in the 4 years to next leap year. And pandemic is not one of them, because optimistically I'm not going to get it done in 4 years, even if I only stitch on that one long dog, and I stitch on lots of long dogs. So I didn't put pandemic in the mix. I put 4 that I can feasibly get done while stitching on everything else that I stitch on in the 4 years. And yeah, when we get to halfway through 2027, I might be stitching on long dogs a lot. We'll see what we see when we get there. Right now it's pandemic's turn. Okay, the only other thing I've got to show you cross stitch wise is my treasure hunt bookshelf. And when I showed it to you last time, it was at, bloop, bloop, bloop. Oh, I'm on the long dog page. I wrote down all my stats for the end of the year, for the middle of the year, and the end of the year 2023 and the middle of the year 2024. Heids. It was at 26.13. It's now at 26.3, so I've put some stitches in. I'm behind for the month because it's gone the middle of the month and I'm only at 0.3. The idea is that I will be at 28 by the end of the month. I will be. Thereabouts. Last month I missed and had to make up stitches, but that's twice in 2 years that I've missed. So I've been stitching, I think I took a picture of it at the bottom because I found the bottom and I was ridiculously excited that I had found the bottom of this enormous piece, because it's a supersize max colour. It is beyond my biggest cross stitch piece, and I am on a 10-year cycle on this. I started it with purpose and gave myself 10 years. But if I do 1% a month, it's going to take me 8.5 years, isn't it? Because there's 12 months in each year. So I gave myself the leeway, but now I stitch 1% a month. I want to continue to stitch 1% a month. Keep my numbers right. So, page 1, basically complete. It's not where I started. I started at this end, hence why a lot more of that end is done. There. So, as you can see, I'm very much a cross-country stitcher, having a wild go at colour completing the 823. I'm quite a long way off, about 3,000 stitches off my 823, and I got waylaid. So I'm down here now with the bottom edge. So I've been putting in a big chunk of black here. Here's where I had to get my stitches. I have to go for the chunks to make up stitches sometimes. This is 939 mostly, with some 310 muddled into it. This is 310 here, and I found the bottom. So I'm not too sure what I'm going to do now. That's where I dropped my biscuit. Oops. Completely covered now. Quite happy. I did thoroughly clean it off and then very quickly stitch over it, just to be on the safe side there. There is one little piece there I noticed that's still marking the fabric, but the bulk of it is all stitched over with, weirdly enough, biscuit colour. Not even sure what that is. And the pattern we'll find out eventually. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do now. I maybe pick back up the 823. but obviously, oh, I've got one of my 3-hole drops there with 310, 939 and 823 on it. So there's my 823. Oh no, that's 939 because I had to fill in so much of it. My 823's in the middle there. Those were the colours. I was only going to stitch with these colours until I found the bottom, and all of a sudden I went bananas and stitched in loads of different colours. But that's where I am right now today. It will be a bit further on when you see it next. And that's my stitchy content. I've got some other bits and bobs to show you, as I always do. The first thing is, where are we? Where is it? Oh, I didn't put them in there. Give me a minute, a second. Right, I've got them. I put a post up on Instagram, but I know not everybody uses Instagram and not everybody is going to look. So I'm going to show you these because if you're like me and you've got pets, these are the thing, I think. So Lizzie, my middle daughter, who's going to go to university and do illustration, she is an outstanding portrait painter. She can paint people. She can look at a picture and paint the picture of the person and it looks like them. I mean, who can do that? Anyway, I found her some needle minder blanks. They're 1 1/4 inches, absolutely perfect for a super light, it's wood, needle minder. And I said, could you put me a picture of maybe Eric? I'll put a picture of Eric up here. And she painted me this. This is Eric. There. And I was like, oh my goodness. So he's got resin. He's not got a magnet on him yet, but this is mine. Here's Eric, and here's mine. You can see the resin is shiny. He's sealed in there forever. And she also had a picture of her best friend's dog, Atticus, who is, I can't remember the breed, it's something German, but he looks like a German Shepherd, but he's a toy size. They've got a Maine Coon cat. Her friend Elizabeth, her best friend Elizabeth, has got a Maine Coon cat that is bigger than the dog. So she did a picture of Atticus. Here's Atticus. And we're going to set that as a necklace. We're going to put it on a necklace thing and give it to Elizabeth. So there's Atticus. So if you would like a one-off hand-painted portrait of your pet, she's pretty good with any kind of pet. Basically a head. We've got to think this is a 1 1/4 inch disc here. Message me, because she's quite happy, thoroughly enjoys doing them. She's quite happy to do these. All we need is a photograph like this, and I will put a listing up on Etsy, but going through my business PayPal would be much preferable, because basically this is for Lizzie. This is to help, this money is straight to her to help her with her university, because yeah, we all understand that. So if you'd like one, past pet, present pet, guinea pig, cat, dog, whatever, just my contact details are in the drop down box. But she's more than happy to. We've got one custom order ready already, which I'm going to send the picture to today, and I hope she absolutely loves it. It's a very, very jolly, I think it's probably a English Bulldog, I'm not 100% sure, but it's absolutely gorgeous. The pictures, the painting she's done is just wonderful. And we've got a little cat to do as well so far, so Lizzie's really super happy, and she loves painting. It's what she wants to do permanently forever. So I just suddenly thought, I was just making, doing some needle minders, and I just thought, that's just perfect. I want Eric. And now I have an Eric needle minder forever. So I'm really, really pleased with that. And if you would like one of your pet, either, present pet, stitchy buddy, most beloved old pet, I'm going to filch out a picture of Clive for her to do me a Clive as well. So yeah, so Lizzie's off and running. She's also doing scissor fobs. There is he's sort of a a daisy dragon there. She's done the daisies, the beaded daisies as well, and she just did that and put it all together by herself. The only thing of that I did was the leaf cane. So she's made him. He'll be going up on Etsy soon enough. And I've also got, ooh, there's some more in there that aren't yet needle minders. I'm on our ready to be listed on Etsy set of drawers. That's what I record on. There's also some dragon eyes ready to go up. These are black sparkly with a little bit of highlight on them. They're ready to be listed. And oh, that's my needle minder of the month club. They're getting magneted today because I need to post them. So I sent out my invoice. I am in month 2, so I'm like, it's like a thing of my needle minder of the month club, and basically of my choice. Obviously, I'm making them every month. About the middle of the month, it's turning out to be. I'll send out an invoice, and then I'm gonna basically wait a week, and if my invoices are paid, I'll post you a needle minder. If you don't want it, or you decide not to do it anymore, or you remember and you thought, it's not really into it, absolutely fine. If the invoice hasn't been paid by 7 days, I'm going to safely assume that you don't want it, and I'll just skip. That's absolutely cool. Anyway, I sent out my invoices yesterday, and lovely response straight away. Almost all of them got paid straight away. So if you are in my needle minder club and you're thinking, I didn't get mine, go check your the PayPal address. Go check the email address you use for PayPal, because there might be an invoice in there for you. And I'll get them in the post super soon. I'm going to magnet them up today, get them on their little cards all ready to go. And next month we'll see what I fancy doing for next month. And we'll so that's that. Hang on a sec. Right, sorry, back again. Right, so, and the only other thing I've been busy with is, when I was doing some sorting out of my stuff, I found a pile of bags sort of cut out ready to go that had their pocket, basically the zip and the vinyl pocket, the vinyl front bags cut out ready to go. There was a pile of those with the backing with the fabric to go behind as well, cut to size. Now I've kind of moved on from making standard size project bags. The bags I want to make, and by standard, I've got everything. I've got all my stuff open right here. By standard size, I mean a project bag this size. So what I found was the zip part already stitched onto the vinyl, and the piece of fabric this size, cut to size. Now these days I want a bag that fits an 11 by 11 Q-snap with its gubbins, with all the fabric and everything. I need a bag that I can put this in, basically. So I spent a little while faffing around with my not insubstantial denim stash, and I cut bags big enough to put the 11 by 11 Q-snap with all the fabric in. So I've got these. Now one side has got pockets, as in your jeans pockets, and then, as you can see, we're not quite finished yet, and then the other side has got the vinyl pocket on. So I've just applied the vinyl pocket to the front, put a nice trim around the edge, so you've got a bag for floss, for pattern, for bits and pieces in there. So those are the bits I found already done. And here's another one that I've put the pocket on. So, and obviously these are individual. So that one's got a back pocket, and with me, this is what you get if you've not met me before. I patchwork them together and everything is top stitched, seamed in, nice big bag. And you can see this is it's measuring out at 15 by 14, so when its seams are done it's probably going to be about 13 by 14, the inside, the size of this bag. And this one has got the blue birdie on the front, and I've put a little piece of pretty lacy trim around it, and it's my sparkly vinyl. And yeah, you can see with my patchworking, it's wherever the seams took me, but they're all finished, they're all top stitched. These are not insubstantial bags. And then for the lining, because I had the pieces cut, the backing pieces, I've got these here. So you've got a kind of a, I had to make do fit. So the lining will be like that. So the lining's obviously in this one here. So you can see there's the original back piece, and then I've had to put another colour that matches. So you've even kind of got patchwork on the inside, and that'll be fully lined up. And then the zip, instead of being a zip along here, the zip's going to run along the top. So zip's next. Bye bye Flops. She's going out today. Flora's going out today. She's just going now. So zip in next, and I've bought ages ago, I've got everything I could ever need. I've got the zip you cut to size, so you can open it and stitch it really neatly, because inserting zips is one of those things that I have taught myself to do, but the zip across the top with the lining and everything all stitched neatly together, I struggle to do that with a zip that's closed end. So I've bought open end zips with the zipper. You obviously put it together, you put the zip in, and then you stitch the sides, and then it's all beautifully finished. I'm going for beautifully finished and neat. So there will be, by and by, probably when I'm off for my week, I will get these completely finished. I'm doing a little bit each day. Today's job is to put the trim around the pockets, and I might be able to get to trying to put one of the zips on and see how we go with the zips. But I have a pile of these. I think there might be 8 of them, and I'm getting on with those. And then there's going to be 8 quite big bags. They're quite big, so hopefully, fingers crossed, they turn out beautifully. They will have a little scissor fob that matches whichever fabric you get, and I may do some needle minders to match them as well. But I'm really happy with the bags, and because they're denim on the outside. I love denim. I've always been bananas about denim. I've got a whole denim quilt that I'm sitting on that you've seen probably in the back of my videos. It used to be up over the back of the sofa here, but it's currently just folded into half. I think it fits a king size bed, so it's pretty big. And yeah, I love denim. I've always had a huge collection of bits of denim, so I'm making denim on the outside bags. My bags used to have denim on the inside, they now have denim on the outside. So one side you've got a proper denim jeans pocket, and on the other side you've got the vinyl pocket. And then the inside is obviously big enough to put your 11 by 11 with a big project. And in your pocket you can put whatever you need to put with. So I've got those going on, which is cool. I'm getting on with them. Only trouble is Nancy is sleeping behind my sewing machine, so every time I sit down at my machine, she huffs. She thinks I'm trying to kill her with the sewing machine. Doesn't help that, or it does. It helps me amazingly. Year and a half ago, it was Easter when I went. No, it was when I went to visit Maddie. Oh crikey, it might have even been year 1. Might have been Easter year 2 at university. I went into the John Lewis with my folding cash monies from my birthday money. My parents always give me like cash for my birthday. It's just tradition. I took it in with me to John Lewis and I bought the Janome walking foot. And there it stayed in its packet until Saturday last week. And I fitted it to my sewing machine. Oh my goodness, what a difference having a walking foot is for stitching many layers. you're meant to use it for like quilting. Brilliant for vinyl, because the teeth of the dog, are they called dogs? The teeth that come up to move your fabric along, this is now teeth at the top. So they hold the fabric and they move it together, so you can't push it, you can't rumple it up. You don't, I'm not getting like little puckers and creases that plagued my sewing have gone. So I'm really very pleased. I can't believe I didn't fit it before. But it's quite clattery. For those of you who've got a walking foot, you probably know it makes a different kind of clattery noise when you use it, which sounds alarming but isn't. And yeah, Nancy is, even as we speak right now, I will take a picture of her and put it up here, sleeping behind my sewing machine, which is unhelpful because she gets huffy every time I sit down. Anyway, I will evict her. It's a lovely day. She can go and sleep in the sunshine somewhere and get the trim stitched onto the pocket this morning before I have to get ready to go for work. It's already 9:30. Yeah, brilliant. Right, guys, I think I'm done. Yeah, I will be back in about a week. I should have had a week off. I should be all chilled and relaxed. I bet you I've been running around like a blue-ass fly doing more than normal. And show you my stitching, which I'm hoping, again, because I'm off work, will be substantial, but I'm figuring it might not be. My plans for this coming week are just to carry on with the pieces I've already got pulled. I haven't told you about the Better to See You With. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put up a picture of it here. You know, yeah, I'm going to talk about it now. So if you've already tuned out because I've been talking about Etsy, then you dip out. So the Better to See You With was on my old Fire tablet. So I emailed Charting Creations. Can't even remember. Yes, the company that did it, that charted it, and said, I'm such a fool. And they emailed back and said, yes, send us your order number, it's $5. So I sent them my order number, paid my $5, and they sent me a replacement PDF, which was lovely, because it's now $15. I'm pretty sure I spent about $25 on it 4 years ago. And so I've got my charting pattern keeper. And then, of course, I picked up my Fire tablet to go, stupid thing, and it switched on. It had been quietly taking charge after I just got bored of it, stuck it behind the TV and left it plugged in. So it took a charge. So now I do have the patterns of the things that are on the pattern keeper on there. So I'm just simply going to connect it up to the internet and send them up to my Dropbox. So I now do have the Better to See You With, and I can export my progress, and I now have 2 copies of it. But never mind at all. So yeah, so what I'm going to do with that is, from where I am, I'm going to roughly grid, well, I'm going to very carefully count, but grid down right to the bottom of the piece, because I don't want to just start again at the bottom, because then the 1.17% or something I've done would be wasted, and that's something like 6,000 stitches or something. It's enough for me not to want to junk it, because they're already in the right place. I just need to make sure that I'm going to go right to the bottom and I'm going to stitch the girl. So that's what I've decided to do with that. So I'm going to get that done, and I may or may not start that in this coming week, because I really want to, because now I've got the pattern again and I want to just get on with it. So I may or may not show you that next week. Otherwise it'll be whenever I do pull it out and decide to work on it, but that's in my mind to get on with. But I'll have to do some gridding first, and I'll be doing that with the thread, the filament, because I don't trust myself with a pen to do that, because it's 20 count that has been pretty much boil washed. So I think it still only counts out at 21. It's not shrunk massively, but it does have, it's a very soft floppy fabric now, as opposed to it was this fabric. 20 counts what I got gridded Ada, and it's now very soft and floppy. It looks like a piece of Laguna. So anyway, I'm going to pull that and see what I can do with it. And that's it for me, guys, for this week. I'll see you next week if you want to watch me, and we'll have a bit of an update then. Bye bye.